Hello, everybody. Today on Storytime with Advait, we are with someone from my school. His name is Robert, and I would like Robert to introduce himself. So, Robert, please go on.
Hi, my name is Robert. I'm a student at the same school as Advait, a film school, Digital Film Academy. Uh, we've known each other for maybe like 7 months or so.
Yeah,
We've been in a lot of classes together, and a lot of those classes have been online because of quarantine. So,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. I've been studying film for 3 years. I've been passionate about films all my life, and I live in New York City. So that's a little bit about myself.
Yeah. But you are not originally from New York City or the United States. So, I wanted to ask you about that. And
Oh yeah,
yeah,
right. So I'm from Barcelona. I'm from Spain, but I have a dual citizenship because my mother's from the States. She's from the Midwest, from Minnesota, which is right next to Canada, and I'm lucky enough that I was raised in an American home, kind of, even though I was raised in Spain. I was raised talking English and watching American films and American culture. So I would come to the States for vacations and for holidays, for summers, to visit family. And and then finally, after I finished college in Spain, in Barcelona, I decided to, cross the pond and come to the States and come to New York City. And it's been 6 years since that move.
that's
So
great.
so
So,
yeah, I guess I like it. I guess I like New York.
yeah. And when you moved from Spain, was it directly to New York City or did you go to Minnesota for some time?
No, I came here directly. Yeah, I had the idea to come to New York for years before I actually made the move. So yeah, I came directly here. There's not that much going on in Minnesota. I mean, there's some stuff going on,
Yeah.
but my family they live up north, like not in the city, not in Minneapolis, but upstate, like next in the lakes. So there's not much going on there. New York City has a lot more going on, and it's not for everyone. Like, not everyone likes the energy of New York. I know, for example, my sister, she's like she would not be okay living in New York. She likes peace and quiet, so she uh, she would not be as comfortable in this place as I am. But I love the energy. I love the life, and the ambulances don't bother me.
Yeah. There's always an ambulance or a police siren. I'm pretty
Some
sure we'll get to
siren.
hear it when we are recording this podcast because I live near a police station, so it is always a siren car going around. I'm pretty sure we'll both hear it at some point.
Yeah, at some point. Yeah,
Yeah.
fire truck, ambulance, police sirens. Especially during quarantine, it's been like crazy, always in the background. But
Yeah.
but you know,
It's yeah.
it's
You
part of
do
it.
you do live near a hospital, right? So that's why you are immune
Yeah,
to
I
the
live on
ambulances now.
Amsterdam. Yeah, I live on Amsterdam Avenue, so I'm right next to Mount Sinai on 110th Street. So 114th Street. So yeah, there's a lot of traffic around here.
Yeah.
But actually, like I'm so used to it that I was filming last summer upstate. I was lucky enough to be called by one of my teachers at Digital Film Academy to help him
Mm.
shoot his film. And I was upstate, and it was so quiet at night that I couldn't sleep. Like, it was too quiet. It felt weird. It
Yeah.
was eerie. Like, why is it so quiet outside? And it's because I was in the middle of the woods. But that just
Yeah.
like shows shows me that I've grown used to it. It's almost like what puts me to sleep, or the siren
Yeah.
sound.
Yeah. You do get used to the sounds you listen to all the time. So I guess that is something. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So what have you
So
been doing up to case to stay busy? I see that you started this podcast. So that's probably been keeping you busy.
Yeah, I occasionally make YouTube videos. I am trying to learn more about editing. I am editing a few projects for some other people, and I mean it's not paid work. It's just I'm just helping them out with that, and I'm just trying to learn more and more, making use of all the time that I have. Then I started this podcast because I always wanted to, and I wanted to do it for quite some time. So I started doing this, and I think I managed to keep myself busy, and I take out time on Saturdays and Sundays to actually socialize with people, so that I don't just get busy in my work, because you have to have some sort of connections, real world connections, that you can go out with them, you can talk to them, you can feel normal, especially during this quarantine time where it's not normal. So you have to make
Right.
yourself feel better. I'm sure you
Hmm.
must be also hanging out with some of your friends occasionally.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, during quarantine, I kept working. I was working at the restaurant, so I know some people I know were like in their apartment for 4 months or 3 months.
Yeah.
I was going and I was going out. I had to go to work. I was managing the restaurant. I work at part time.
Mm.
But because some of my coworkers either like left the state or one of them got sick, but not a COVID, they just got sick. So I had to be the manager during a period of time. So actually it was good because it kept me kind of connected to reality. I
Yeah.
was not at home for 4 months. I was going
Right.
out like 4 5 times a week. Um, but yeah, definitely these connections that for example, the fact of going to school, even though it was remote, and
Yeah.
seeing your face and seeing your face and like other classmates faces, that was also helpful
Yeah. It was.
to stay in touch
Yeah.
with reality somehow in these crazy times.
Yeah. In the beginning, in the first month or so, it was really crazy. But then I think all of us got used to it quickly, because, well,
Yeah.
that is uh that is our this is our life now.
Yeah, it was the new reality. We adapt.
Yeah.
We as human beings have this immense capacity to adapt to whatever life throws at us, and
Yeah.
that's what we do. So
Right.
after like the first weeks was kind of weird seeing everyone's head, floating head, and like their
Yeah.
bedrooms and their in their houses. And
Right.
after like a couple of weeks, it was like, yeah, okay, so this is what it is now. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Hmm. So yeah, I totally agree with you in the sense where you're saying like you keep busy like Monday through Friday, and then you like weekends you take off. Uh, you need that discipline, I feel like,
Yeah.
and it's not always easy. Like sometimes I get up in the morning and I'm like, I don't feel like doing
Yeah.
anything.
Right.
I don't want to work out. I don't want to study. I don't want to go to class or whatever. But like we just have to be disciplined, and in this times especially, like just being disciplined with yourself. And even though even if you don't want to work out, you work out. Or even if you don't want to like practice editing for an hour a day, you just
Right.
promise yourself like, okay, every day I'm gonna practice half an hour or 2 hours of editing, even though I don't feel like it. You just do it and it becomes a habit. And habits are what kind of got a lot of us through these times. We're
Right.
like
Absolutely.
being disciplined that way.
Yeah. 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 That is so true, because uh, I in the first month or so it was very weird, because there was nothing to do, and usually I am not the kind of person who will stay inside my house. I was always outside. I was always And I was new to this city, so I was always exploring things. Even if it was cold, I was still stepping out to just look at, find new places, look at new places, take some pictures, and I was always exploring. But then when the quarantine hit, and suddenly I had nowhere to go and only my house, it was so weird.
Right.
It was so weird, because I am not used to staying in my house, but now over time I have gotten used to staying indoors so much, and it's kind of weird. But then again, I think we have now grown used to it, and I really
Yeah.
can't wait to go to classes in person whenever that happens. But yeah, I am kind of waiting for this all of this to end, even though we have gotten used to it now. But I am
Hmm.
hoping this like ends soon and we can go out normally, and not worry about catching COVID. And
Right. Yeah.
you have been working since day one, so I can only imagine how tough that must have been, because you were an
Uh,
essential worker, kind of,
yeah. I
when
don't. I
you
mean,
were.
the title essential worker makes it sound like I was not a nurse or a doctor or
Yeah.
anyone on the front line. I was just walking to the restaurant and getting phone calls. But so I really don't consider myself an essential worker, but uh, it
But
was it
but
was
it was
weird
essential and
sometimes.
important.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
essential and
Technically.
important. Yeah.
Yeah. It was weird going outside and like not seeing anyone in the streets.
Yeah. Oh, it was
And
so scary. Yeah.
yeah,
It was scary seeing nobody in Manhattan. That is a once in a lifetime thing that you just
I
noticed.
know. Yeah. And there's also like right now, for restaurants, they're blocking the streets on weekends,
Right.
Saturday and Sunday. So you have people, dining in the middle of 10th Avenue
Right.
and like they're freaking out as well. They're all taking pictures. I see them at my restaurant, they're taking pictures because they know that this is a one in a lifetime occurrence, that they're
Right.
not going to be eating, underneath the
In the middle of
in
10th
the
Avenue. Right.
exactly,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
It's wacko.
We
Uh,
are in unique times. I think we should make the
yeah,
most of it.
yeah, and I'm seeing like some productions are starting to roll now. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna work on like a project this week with one of my classmates, and we're gonna do like a fashion shoot, like a spec fashion shoot,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
and hmm and so it's nice to now actually be able to start gathering. Of course, we're going to have to take all these precautionary measures, like wear masks and gloves and like hand sanitizer. And if we have food for the crew, all the fruit has to be individually packaged. And take the temperature and put that on like on the log of like what if anyone, and if there's anyone who's has a fever, then you have to cancel the shoot right then and there.
Right.
So there's all these measures now that we have to take before. So I mean, it's definitely more complicated to film.
Yeah,
It's gotten a little more complicated, but it's a challenge. It's a challenge, and we as filmmakers, we love challenges.
that is
We
true.
love it. So let's embrace it.
Yeah, that is true. But yeah,
Mhm.
which classmate are you shooting with? Is it from our class or from your previous
Yeah,
class?
it's with Elias.
Oh, yeah,
Elias.
yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So it's a spec commercial because we were doing our websites we were working on our websites before. You worked on yours. Yours looked really
Yeah,
nice.
thank
And
you.
we just like noticed how our content is like not enough to fill a website. Like maybe we
Right,
have like 5 videos or 6 videos, but if we really want to, hit the pavement running once we finish school, which is it's actually soon. It's like we're finishing in
yeah,
3 months and we're graduating, and we want to hit the pavement running. We need to have a website that really shows a portfolio. So
right,
he's interested in directing, and he's interested in being a DP, not so much, but he's also a cinematographer, and I'm more interested in producing and in
right,
editing.
right, right,
So we kind of complement each other in that way, where he's interested in the areas that I'm not that interested in pursuing, but I'm
right.
interested in the areas that he's not that interested in pursuing. So we are teaming up for this project, and I helped him produce it. So I
That's
helped him
great.
like get the actors and get the other crew members and kind of organize location scout. Location scouting is always super super
Yeah,
important and also
yeah,
very fun.
yeah.
And then he's gonna direct it, he's gonna DP it, and later once we get the footage, I'm gonna edit it. But I think he
Okay.
might want to edit it as well, so we'll have 2 versions of it.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, definitely trying to fill our websites.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Hmm.
It sounds interesting, and you finally have, some really film related good on-site work after so long. Have you
Right.
been working on any other productions all this time?
Uh, I've been lucky enough to get some jobs editing, video editing for Columbia University. It was word of mouth, but yeah, I was fortunate enough to get a couple jobs during quarantine, so it was good to get the experience of editing and like a professional kind of experience where I had to
Right.
present my work to them, and then like, a lot of back and forth because dealing with clients is not the same. In my experience, it's been very different than doing projects for myself, because when
Right.
I
Right.
was doing projects for myself, I'm like, oh, I like it. Okay, this is done. Now I can post it, and now I'm gonna see what the audience, the public says in social media, if it's a thumbs up or a thumbs down. But when you're working with a client, there's always a lot of tweaks that they might want, and like even though you're kind of I'm not gonna say you're glad to be done with a project, but you are kind of like, this is done. Like, let's move on to the next thing.
Right.
When you're dealing with clients, you really don't have the last call on that. They have the last call, so you got to go back and tweak it. Then you send it to them. Then they say, "Oh, I like that. Oh, by the way, when this moment, could you change that too?" And then you're going back and forth. So it's a patience exercise. You have to be
Yeah, it
zen.
is.
You got to
Yeah.
find your inner zen master, and like just be very polite and do all the changes. Or if there's a change that can't be done, you got to explain to them how and this would be probably would look worse.
Yeah.
And they usually understand that. Like when you
Yeah.
tell them, if you explain it and you're clear of the reasons why it wouldn't work, it's a communication thing. And then they'll understand, and they'll be like, okay, yeah.
Yeah. But
Hmm.
it is sometimes very tough to deal with clients because not all the time. It's not all the time that you are on the same page. They're usually on a different page. They need things different ways, and it's sometimes it's weird, but it depends from client to client. So yeah, I can understand what what you're
Hmm.
saying. So have you been on any productions on site?
No, actually, no productions. No productions. Everything has been all editing, and I was able to pull a video together where there were actors in it, but it was a fake Zoom meeting. So I'm
Oh,
sure
okay.
you've seen it, like in like I think like the new Progressive commercial, they have like a parody of a Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
So I had to do something like that. So I did send a script to like three actors, and then I had them record themselves and send me their clips, and then I like put together like a fake Zoom meeting,
Right.
timing the reactions and stuff. So that was fun to do, and that was a good editing like quarantine story, where I
Right.
kind of had to put in a 17-minute video with actors, but they were all filming themselves from home.
That's
Yeah.
great. That does sound. You did it on your own for, or did you do it for someone?
That was one of the projects for the Columbia
Oh,
University
okay.
hired me for. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Good that you
Yeah.
are getting some work done while you're at home, and you have always been working at the restaurant since the
Hmm.
course started. So that is just part time. But even in this field, you have worked this much. So that is great, and I
Yeah.
hope you keep working. I'm also trying to
Yeah.
work on a few projects myself.
What are you
Um,
working on these days?
these
You were
days,
filming. You were in a production recently, right? This last week, or?
no, it was not a production actually. So I'm a photographer as well, right? So there's a photographer friend of mine who needed some help with his shoot and also needed someone to shoot sort of a BTS video. So that is what I was helping him with. I was helping him shoot pictures, and I was taking a BTS ish video for his client. So yeah, that is what I was doing this past week. So I've been doing that for I guess I went for a shoot last week and I went for a shoot this weekend as well. So yeah, it felt so good to finally be outside and shoot something which is professional, and it's not
Yeah.
just a project that you're doing for your own.
Where did
It's
you shoot? Where were you shooting?
Yesterday we went to Domino Park in Williamsburg, Brooklyn.
Yeah.
It was
Cool.
a
Yeah,
it,
that's a good spot.
yeah, it's a great spot. I went there for the first time yesterday, and it was very good. It was a fashion editorial shoot, so it is probably going to go in a magazine, in some
Mm,
magazine. So the
nice.
my friend was shooting for that, and he pulled together all these people, and we were all shooting yesterday all day. So it was pretty good. I can't wait to see those pictures in some sort of magazine, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. And last week we were shooting in downtown Manhattan for a fashion designer. So he was taking
Mm.
pictures for them, and I took a few clips so that we could, because
Behind the scenes
yeah,
or clips
behind the
from?
scenes and clips from the looks as well. So it was a fashion
Mhm.
look. So I made sure to, capture every fashion look that they did, every outfit that they did. So when we were giving the client the deliverables, it was not just photos. We also had the video. So
Nice. That's
uh,
always a plus.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a
it's
big
always
plus.
good to upsell, because if you're asked to do something and if you give something extra to your client,
Yeah.
it's always a bonus, because they treat it as a bonus, and the chances of them hiring you back again rise
So important.
substantially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of our teachers, Blake, says always when you have a client, always under promise and over
Over
deliver.
deliver. Right.
So yeah, like when for example, if you have like uh, you get a job from a client and he asks you like, how long is this going to take? Even though you can do it in a week, tell him 2 weeks. Even if he looks at you weird and he's like, really, 2 weeks? It's better for him, like for you to say 2 weeks, and then
Right.
you have it a week early, and you send it to him a week early, and you were like, I was able to do this. I got up early and worked on it, and I was able to finish sooner. So you under promise, but you over deliver,
Yeah.
and that's how you keep them coming back to you.
Yeah, that is
Absolutely.
right. Yeah.
Yeah,
This
I've
does.
done that a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah, it does
Yeah.
work. And
Mhm.
it's you do put effort anyway. All of us do put effort in editing these projects in time. So sometimes it also works in our favor if something wrong happens, and sometimes if we actually need the extra time. So that also works.
Right. Exactly. And there's
Yeah.
always like the that we were saying before, like the tweaks that you have to do. Like you have to go back and you have to fix that, and you have to tweak this and that and the other. So it's good also to have that extra time later to do all the fixes. There's always going to be fixes when you're dealing with a client, unless you're Tarantino or
Yeah.
Scorsese.
Yeah.
I don't think they're, Paramount is going to tell Tarantino, oh, you got to go back and redo that scene.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that is true. Yeah, but it is fun after I worked with a client after so long, because I hadn't worked since I got here. I The last time I worked under a client was back in India, and since this was an unpaid job, I was like, okay, since I'm on student visa, I can't really work for the 1 year that I'm here while my course is going on. So it was an unpaid gig. So I was like, you know what, I haven't worked in so long that I would love to. And it's been
Yeah.
so good. It's been so good working. Uh, it it's a different feeling to actually be on set. If it is Even if it is not a set, it's just two people. Knowing that
Mhm.
this is actually going to be used by someone
Yeah.
professionally, it makes you feel different. It makes you work harder, and I've
Mhm.
missed it so much, and I'm so glad that I'm doing it now more often. So yeah,
Well,
I'm
how do you
hoping.
feel when you're on set? Do you feel, because I feel alive. I feel alive when
Oh
I'm on
yeah.
set and I'm trying to capture a certain scene or a shot, like those moments when you're trying to like achieve that idea, you have it and try to make it real. That's when I feel like the most alive. Does that happen for you too?
Oh yeah, definitely. It definitely does happen for me as well. And I'm always thinking about, once you get to set, once you get there, when you start working, things just flow. You don't have to, keep thinking about it, because ideas keep coming, keep hitting you, and then you just keep going with them.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it's a very great process where you don't really have to think a lot about or worry about the work that you're doing, because it keeps coming to you. And
Hmm.
when
You
you're
enter
done,
like a flow. It's like a flow
yeah, it is like a
state.
flow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and by the end of the day, when you're dead tired and when you go back home, it's like, oh yeah, today was a good day because I am so tired.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That speaks how tired you get. It's usually like, oh yeah, I've worked way too much today, so I feel great when I go back home tired. It
Yeah.
is, yeah, it's
Well,
tiring,
that's
but it's fun.
in general. Yeah. I like to end the day and like hit the bed and just being when you're totally exhausted,
Yeah,
you've done so much stuff that day that just feels good.
yeah,
It just definitely.
yeah,
Hmm.
definitely.
So, your thesis project. What are you thinking about filming on your in the next term when we reopen? Because you're also going to you pushed your final
Yeah,
film
yeah, I
for
did.
the next
Yeah,
term.
next
Same
time,
as
yeah.
me, I did too.
You did too?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just gonna. Yeah, I did too. It's just gonna be too messy to do right now. I know how difficult it is to rent equipment from the school. They
yeah.
are asking for all these extra measures. So I think you and me, we both pushed it for
Yeah,
that
because
reason.
I didn't think it was worth, putting so much effort into something which is, compromised in some way. Because if I want to produce something, then I want it to be like big and good. And doing
Right.
that now in December, when or even now next month, it is not
It's
really,
forced. It's
it's
yeah.
forced. Yeah, it is forced, and things are not back to normal. You can't just expect your actors to be completely comfortable on a set, because they are going to have their masks off. you
Yeah.
will you will have your masks on, but your actors will not, and they will feel the hesitation no matter what precaution you take. And I don't want to put anybody through that, and I don't want that to be on my project as well. So I just
Right.
thought I'll do it next term when things
It's
are
much better this
better.
way, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
yeah,
putting people at risk when you
yeah,
can easily just work on the pre-production aspect for, a couple extra months. You'll work on the pre-production, so you'll probably get, better. Think about the shot list. Think about the wardrobe, the set decoration. Like all these pre-production aspects, you can make them better through these months, and then later when everything is a little calmer and the dust has settled,
hmm.
then people will also feel more comfortable. Because I don't know how I would feel if I were an actor and I had a kiss scene. Like, how are you gonna do a socially distanced kiss? It's
Yeah,
just
yeah. That
weird, man.
it's weird, and I don't want to put anyone through that, and I really
Right.
don't want my set to be awkward. I would much rather have a proper production later when it is, more safe than it is right now. It is still safe right now in New York City because the infection rate is 1%, but that is still, I don't think it's anything close to
Yeah.
normal, because it is not definitely not normal. But
Right.
I would like it to be a little more, you know little more calm, little more normal before I actually shoot my thesis. And I'm also thinking about not shooting the thesis that I wrote 4 months ago, because now I have grown as a writer in the past 4 months. So
Hmm.
I am planning to write something different and then maybe shoot that, because why shoot something you wrote 4 months ago when you were not that good a writer?
Right.
So I
And
wasn't.
you had so much time to write and to get into
Yeah,
your craft and new ideas that,
yeah,
yeah. I think that's probably one of the positive, like, quarantine things is maybe the scripts for like the next films or the next
yeah.
like
Oh,
8
yeah.
seasons to
Right,
come
right,
of
right.
like our favorite HBO show, like Succession. I think that the script of the show is going to be so much better because they didn't just, in a rush like they always do, just write and then shoot. They had like 6 extra months to revise the text, the scripts, and just like tweak the dialogue, and like maybe they thought of like a different story arc, and now maybe we're gonna have a bunch of great scripts and a bunch of great movies coming our way.
Yeah. I think so too, and I think some of them are going to be inspired by the quarantine and by the lockdown that we have been in, and I can't wait to see a real mention of COVID-19 in some of the movies or the shows. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's going to hit differently whenever that happens. Somebody actually puts it in their movie or show, and you're going to be like, oh
and
yeah,
they
yeah,
have to. They
yeah,
have to
yeah.
put it.
Everybody
If
has
like
to.
anyone, yeah, if they talk about 2019, 2020, 2021, they're gonna have to like put people in masks
Yeah.
because like I was lucky also to film like a short film that was it was a like independent, but it was a pretty decent production, and it was in the works for like a year, and it just came out like 2 weeks ago, and it takes
Oh,
place in like a
nice.
cafeteria in Brooklyn, and all the actors are not wearing masks, and I was showing that to a friend of mine, and he was saying like it looks weird to see people inside a cafeteria without masks on now. So
Right.
it's like it didn't feel current anymore. The film that I
Yeah.
made a year ago wasn't current because people in the film were not wearing masks. So we've already gotten used to seeing people inside places with masks. So now maybe we expect to see that on TV as well and
Yeah.
in
And
films.
I think that is a part of our life now, and we can't just not put it in. It is like making a movie set in the 80s, and there's no mention of World War II. And,
Right. Exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
So, you have to have that in the movie, in the shows. But
At some
since,
point.
yeah, because of COVID, everything got delayed. So that is why I think the movies that will come out next year will have mention of COVID-19, which I'm excited to see
Yeah.
how they depict it, how they show it, and how many actors are actually wearing masks. I'm excited to see that. Talking about
Yeah.
movies, one thing that I have missed the most since March is watching a movie in the theater. It has been so long. I actually watched a movie, I think 4 days before we went into lockdown. So
Oh,
I haven't
I
watched
know what you
since.
mean.
Yeah,
Yeah, I missed that.
both of us had the AMC membership, and we were
Yeah.
also going to watch a movie together whenever that was going to happen,
We
but
we were
it
gonna
never
watch a
did.
movie together, and then just they just closed it. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I missed that so much too. I think the last movie I saw at the movie theater was the Guy Ritchie film, The Gentleman, the last one that came
yeah,
with Matthew
yeah.
McConaughey and Colin. Uh, I can't remember the whole cast, but that movie was the last one I saw, and it was like a week before. And now we have Tenet coming, and I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
everyone wants to see that. I know I do. I know you do.
yeah. I want to see it
uh,
too. I think in New Jersey they are opening up some of the theaters, and if they are playing Tenet, and if all the precautions are being taken, I would love to go and watch
we
it.
should all go to see
Yeah,
Tenet, even though we're
yeah,
gonna be like 5 seats apart.
yeah. It would
I
it would be a
definitely
great
want to see
experience,
it.
because if you're watching a Nolan movie, there is no point in watching it the first time on a on a laptop or a phone. It
No,
it is
I
not the
mean,
same experience.
no, it's not the same experience, especially with a Christopher Nolan film.
Yeah,
Like you have to see that in the big screen at least once. I mean,
yeah.
it
At the
depends on the
first time, I
movie.
think the first time
Yeah,
you have to see it on a big
yeah,
screen. It's
yeah.
no there's no point if you watch it on a laptop first, because it'll kill all the, I don't know.
It'll kill. Yeah, like people that are paying like $20 to see Mulan on their screen, on their
Yeah,
laptop. I mean, it's like I don't want to pay $20 to see a movie in my laptop.
right. Yeah,
It's too
I hate
expensive
it. Yeah, too expensive, but also it's not the same thing.
and it's not
Watching,
the same thing. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, and watching web shows on the web is fine. They're made for that. But
Exactly.
when you watch a movie, like especially a movie like Tenet, you can't. You just can't. I'm waiting for the theaters to open up so that I can actually go and watch Tenet, and it's going to be so much fun whenever that happens. Theaters in New York City are not going to open for some time, but I think in New Jersey it's going to open up soon. So if whenever that happens, I will definitely let you know, so you can come here and we can both watch
Yeah, absolutely.
Tenet. Yeah,
I just don't understand why it's safe to go like Times Square, all the shopping like malls and everything is open, and like all the like fashion stores and all the restaurants are starting to open, and I feel like a movie theater is almost safer than those other places that have already opened.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
whatever. I don't
If
understand a lot of things of this. So.
yeah, if they fill only like 25% of the theater, everybody sitting like 4 seats away, then I think that should be fine.
It
So
should be fine. Yeah.
by now it should be, because uh, in New York City the cases are not increasing that much. Like it's a 1% infection rate that we currently have, and
Hmm.
the last week I think was the first time we actually went over 1,000 cases per day in quite some time, in after like 3 months. So our curve has flattened, which I am very
Yeah.
grateful for, and really grateful to all the people of New York who actually worked. Uh, the healthcare workers, they just
Hmm.
put in so much work, and that is why the city is safe today. But
And how
yeah,
are things in India?
India, it's kind of going to shit because cases are rising, and the population there is much more than it is here in the US. So,
Is it the
and
second most populated country in the world after
yeah,
China?
it is,
Yeah.
yeah. So the population is more, the people, all of them, they live in close quarters. So people in India really tried to not, you know, get infected, but then again, it just kept happening. The cases kept growing, and there have been some, like, a lot of people have died both in this country and my country back
Hmm.
home. So that is very unfortunate. But in the US now,
How's your
after,
family though? Is your
oh
family
yeah,
all
yeah, my family is
okay?
safe. Thankfully, my family
Okay.
is safe, and
Okay.
all my other relatives are also safe. They are taking as much precaution as they can, and
Yes.
I also have
Good.
two grandparents who are old and who live with my mom and dad. So my mom and dad have to take extra precaution, because since they are very old, they cannot get infected, because if they do, then it will be fatal. So it's kind of worrisome. It is something that I think about, my parents think about. But things are starting to get better, I feel, in India as well, at least where we live.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
luckily, in India, some places the cases are still going, and in America as well. In a few states the cases are still rising, but in New York City we are safe. And similarly,
Yeah.
where I live in India, the cases are like not uh, growing that much, and my family is taking care of themselves and everybody around them. So it's kind of
Are they
reassuring.
working remote? Are they working from home like the like here?
Yeah,
Like
yeah. They
yeah.
are working remotely. My father, he goes to his work site, I think once a week or something, but that is okay.
Hmm.
It's his own business, so there are no other people that are there. It's him and his employees, and they're all like socially distanced.
Yeah.
He's taking care. My
That's
mother
good.
is a teacher, so she teaches, like, it's an online class like ours, and
So are you in the either of them in the film industry? Because I know India is the biggest film industry in the world. So do you have
uh
a family that are artists or
no,
family members that
actually,
are in the film?
no, nobody in my family is in the film background, which is
So you're the first. That's
yeah,
crazy because you have like
yeah.
the biggest film industry. I was sure that you had like background in film. Your parents were in film or
No, it's
no,
not.
no
It's not the
way.
case. We come from a very different conservative kind of family, and it is. My family is a bit different, and but what you said is actually true, that there are way too many people in, like, India produces so many movies, and India is, I
Hmm.
think, the number one country in selling tickets. So the amount of people that watch movies in theaters, that is the most in India, in the whole world, because there
Yeah.
are those many people and we love movies. So even if
Hmm.
my family is not in the film industry, I am still very interested, because all the people, almost all the people in India are. There is
Yeah.
some sort
And they
of,
probably love movies, even though they're not
oh
working in the film
yeah,
industry. That their parents
yeah, yeah,
love
yeah.
movies, and they used to take you to the movie theater when you were little
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
all that. Hmm.
That is, I think, with a lot of people that I know, and us as Indians, we are really fond of movies, and TV shows have just started to trickle in and started to hit
Hmm.
right, but mostly, it is mostly TV, it is mostly movies, and
Mostly
a lot,
movies, yeah.
yeah, mostly movies, and a lot of people actually go to the theaters, and I can't imagine how many people, the production houses must be suffering so much because so many people
Right.
in India watch so many movies every single week,
Hmm.
and the theaters being closed since March, I just can't imagine how what hit it has taken. And
Yeah.
it also contributes a lot to our like GDP, because there are so many people who actually go out to watch movies, and it's crazy. And the amount
So
of
did you
people.
always want to come to New York to study film, or did you first started in India to study film and then you came here? Or was it like your plan is to stay here to go and hit Bollywood, which would be your end goal at this moment?
Okay, so I never had plans to come to New York. I mean, I always felt attracted to New York City, and I wanted to go there somewhere in the future. But there was no specific plan as such to come to New York City to study film, especially because I have a bachelor's degree in computer engineering. So my family did not want me to pursue this.
Damn.
My my family wanted
Computer
me,
engineering.
yeah, my family wanted me to become a computer engineer. So I after when I was finishing my degree, my bachelor's degree, I started working as a photographer, and photography is something I always had an interest for, and I started working part-time and as a freelancer when I was completing my bachelor's degree. So my interest grew, and then it shifted from photo to video, and I found video more interesting, so I just kept learning more and more and more. I learned how to edit and how to do other things, and
I'm
then
guessing that because you have a degree in computer engineering. Did you probably start your first steps in film by editing, and then you moved to DPing, or was it first DP and camera work, and then you started editing?
actually, there's I haven't really done some any kind of proper camera work with film cameras. I've always like filmed something on my phone,
DSLR,
on my DSLR, and
yeah,
then I put it together in a timeline. So yeah, it is kind of true that I started with editing because
right.
I just went on a few trips here and there, and then I filmed all that, and I then made videos out of that, and I personally love making those videos. So I was like, okay, I can actually do this and pursue this as a career. And my family really wanted me to study outside of India, and they were almost forcing me to go for a master's degree in computer engineering, but I told them that I don't want to pursue it and I want to pursue film. So that is why
Hmm.
they asked me to look for a good film school that I can study film in. So then I found Digital Film Academy online, and then I was like, okay, maybe New York is calling me and I should go to New York. So I came here to study film. And as you asked, my plans are to actually work here. Um, Working in Bollywood will also be fun, but I love the way they make movies and shows here in Hollywood. So I'm really interested in working under these people that I have looked up to for so long. And
Hmm.
it would be great to make movies in Bollywood as well, but I would love to start with Hollywood and get
Get the
some
experience
get the
here, learn a
experience here.
couple
Yeah,
tricks, and then take them to India and make your
yeah,
films there with
yeah,
the
that
tricks
would be
you've
great
learned
too.
in
But
Hollywood.
yeah, I would love
Nice.
to stay in New York for a month longer, because I just love this city.
Mhm.
I love being here, and I love the films that they make here. I love the movies and the shows
Yeah,
that they
and the
make here.
shows,
Yeah, oh yeah,
so many shows. They do more shows in New York than they do in LA.
yeah,
So
I know,
LA does most films, but New
movies. Yeah,
York does more TV shows than
yeah.
any other place in the States. Yeah.
That is actually why I when I was choosing which film school to go to, that is why I chose New York, because I am interested more in long form content, which is TV shows. So
Yeah.
that is why I chose New York and not LA. And New York also,
Hmm.
I match with the vibe of this city. It's so fast. It's so, everybody's
Yeah.
working so hard all the time. So that is why I
Yeah,
came to New York.
definitely.
And
Definitely. People here they're on beast mode like all the
yeah,
time.
all the time. Yeah.
I
And
come from Spain where people are chill, they're laid back. Like maybe they'll work from like 10 to like 3, and then the rest is like, let's chill. Let's kick back and take a nap. But here it's like, I mean, everyone is a fucking beast. Oh, I'm sorry, can I swear
yeah,
here?
yeah, you can. It's perfect.
Everyone is in fucking beast mode here all the time and like producing content and creating and like nonstop. And it's a great energy that I feed off and like feed into. And it's just like the machine is it's the grind. It's being
Yeah,
in the
it's the
grind.
grind. Anybody you ask is he or she is not doing just one job. Everybody's doing two jobs. Everybody's working so hard. Everybody's going late home. Everybody's just
Hmm.
waking up early, doing one job, going on to the second one. Like you also work you also work part time.
Yeah.
I know how much effort you put into work. And in this
And I know
city,
like you also start the podcast, you have your YouTube channel,
yeah,
plus school, plus
yeah,
freelancing and doing fashion shoots here and there. It's
yeah,
like, yeah. And
yeah.
it's great because
In
you
this
get
city,
home at the end of
yeah,
the day and you're like exhausted and
yeah.
you feel
But
like you accomplished something.
yeah, in this city, you never feel like you're working enough. I've observed that no matter how much you work, there is always going to be one person working so much more than you are, and
Yeah.
then you feel shady
Yeah.
because you put
Yeah.
in the whole week, and then you're like, oh my god, that guy is working more than I am, so I should work
Yeah.
more too. And then
Yeah.
it's just an endless loop because that one guy will also have another guy who is working more than him.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
it's insane how much people work here, and the work culture is great, the grind is great, the hustle is great. Everybody
Yeah.
is, everybody's working so hard that it inspires you to work hard. You can't
Yes.
just you don't feel like just sitting back and chilling.
You
it
can't.
it is
Like
okay
it's
occasionally,
impossible.
but
Like physically
yeah,
impossible for me to like lie down on the couch a whole
yeah,
day. Like I
there
can't
is
do
no
that.
time, there's no
I used to
time.
be able to do that in Spain, but here in New York you can't do that. Like there's like a like yeah, this need to like do stuff all the time. And then like that also like once you get used to working more, you realize like, oh, I can be so much more productive than I was a year ago now because it's just like a muscle that I've built. And like with the more I've been working and the more life throws at me, the more I'm able to like grow and stretch myself and get new
Right.
skills. It's like, like the what do you call it? People that like throw balls
Juggling.
in the juggling. Well, they
Juggling,
start with.
yeah.
I used to maybe be able to do juggling with 2 balls, but then like there's
Yeah,
4 now,
right.
there's 6, and like suddenly you're
Yeah,
juggling like 15 balls in the air, and but it's you realize, oh shit, I can do this. I can juggle
yeah,
50 balls. So it's a
yeah.
good feeling. Yeah.
It is a good feeling. I'm so glad that I'm in this city, and I'm so glad that the people of New York work so hard because they just keep inspiring you over and over again. And
Hmm.
the one thing I feel sad about after I came here, that we went into lockdown, I didn't get to explore much for the past few months. But now I make sure that every weekend or once a week that I go to the city with my friends and look at some of the places, visit those spots. And whenever I go there, people are still working there. It's even
Hmm.
on the weekends, there's someone sitting with their laptop and they are working. You can see it, and
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Hmm.
You get
Yeah.
so much inspiration in the city. It's really crazy.
Hmm. Yeah.
And like we were talking about TV shows earlier, I would love to work on a TV show set here in New York City because I've seen so many. When I was back in India, I always used to watch these New York based shows or city based shows, and then you feel like going there and being a part of that crew. So let's hope one day I get to work on one of those sets,
Yeah.
and that would be a
Here,
great
here.
experience.
I hope you
Yeah,
do, man. I know you will.
yeah,
And I've seen so many shoots like next to our school, especially like
yeah,
in that
yeah,
area. There's constantly shooting like shows, and there's shows that have been running for 20 years, like which is that show written and created by Dick Wolf. What's that? I can't remember the name now. It's
I
like a
can't
show that's been
either.
running for like 20 years, and there's like so many shows that are new shows that are coming that are great on
Yeah,
Netflix and Hulu and all the stream services.
right.
So
I can't, I
yeah,
can't,
it's
I can't wait to work on any of these sets, and I hope the COVID situation gets a little bit better January
mhm.
onwards, so that I can actually apply and actually get some positions on set and get actually work in the middle of a set with people without worrying
Mhm.
about my life. So
Right.
let's hope that
Yeah.
happens in January. I really can't
Yeah.
wait to work, man.
Here, here.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. So many things to do, man. So many things. It's exciting.
yeah,
It's exciting. And I know you're like me. Like right now, we're like a lion in a cage and we're just like ready to jump out of the
yeah,
cage and start filming. And like,
right,
it feels good to see like sunrise finally coming on and like we're going to be able to go
yeah.
out there and shoot stuff.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it does feel better that the city is getting better. The like the cases are decreasing day by day, so that is kind of reassuring because it means that everything will open up sooner, and then we will get to work on sets. And I can't wait for that.
Hmm.
I really can't.
Yeah. Well, if you ever need a producer or an editor, you got me. You can DM me.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes, yes, yes. And if you need a DP or a director, you can definitely call me.
absolutely.
I
Yeah.
also love editing. I think working as an editor is really fun. I'm also working on a few projects to show as my reel so that people can actually hire me as an editor. So
Hmm.
let's hope that
That's
comes
good.
together.
I feel like
Yeah.
editing also a lot of it is a personality. I think you have a great personality for editing because when you're editing for you usually are in a team. You're
Right.
in a team and you're in a room with another person for like 10 hours. So, you can't be an asshole if you're an editor because
Right.
you're literally stuck in a room with like two other guys and you three of you have to be like changing ideas and like, it's a tight space, an editing room.
Right.
So I think you would be good at that because you would
Yeah.
definitely be able to get along with everyone and like bounce ideas back and forth and like all good vibes. Yeah.
Right, right. I can't wait to work as an editor because I've never actually worked on a production as an editor. I've always freelanced and worked for someone's social media or things like that. But I've never been on a production set as an editor or as an assistant editor. So I really can't wait to work as that because I'm really excited to be on set, be behind the scenes on a set, like on in a post production crew.
Hmm.
That would
Yeah.
be quite an experience, I feel.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of shows that are about to start shooting,
Yeah.
so maybe we'll be on one of those post production sets in
Yeah.
6 months. 6 months
Yeah.
from now,
Yeah.
even if it's like
Hopefully.
as an assistant,
Yeah.
it'll be a
I
great
won't.
experience.
Yeah, I won't mind working as an assistant. I just want to learn how to do things because no matter how good you think you are, you're
You can
not.
always get better.
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
always get better. Yeah.
absolutely. I like that
So
philosophy.
yeah, yeah.
Try to get 1% better each day.
Yeah, every day, every month, you just keep getting a little bit better. So yeah,
Yeah,
in the long in
there's a Japanese word for this. It's called kaizen.
right,
Kaizen means like it's incremental growth where it's like try to get 1% better each day or each week 1% better. Kaizen.
right, right.
So
Yeah,
yeah, kaizen.
yeah. Hopefully, yeah.
Hmm.
This this has been a great conversation. I really want to keep talking to you, but I know you have to go to work in some time, so I can't keep you busy. But this was great. I
Yeah,
talked
this
to
was
you.
great. Thanks for having
Yeah,
me.
no problem, Robert. It was my pleasure, and I actually hadn't talked to you in so long because we only get to talk in class. and there is only so much you can talk on a Zoom call. So it was so great actually catching up with you after so long, and I can't wait
Yeah.
to see you in person. Can't wait to go in classes
Yeah.
together and shoot something really good. So thank you so much, Robert, for coming on my
Thank you.
podcast.
Thank you for having
And
me. This was fun. This was a good
yeah,
talk. And it's my first time ever on a podcast. So
yay,
I
that's
can
great.
check
That's
that
great.
out of the,
Off
yeah,
your bucket
it was
list.
fun.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
fun. It was fun. So thank you everybody who's listening or watching. Please consider subscribing or following this podcast. And this is Robert, and this is me signing off. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.